Welcome to this week's Want to Know Wednesday. Every single Wednesday coming at you 4:30 p.m. Central Standard Time with Want to Know Wednesday. It's been a good little program, and I know last week I said, hey, leave in the comments if you want to see how we did $100 million worth of deals in a 3-week period. We had a handful of you guys leave comments saying you wanted to see it, so here we are. We're going to produce that for you as this week's Want to Know Wednesday. And on top of that, we're going to do a little bonus on how we did about $150 million of deals in a 16-week period that is inclusive of the $100 million in the 3-week period. But first, for those of you who do not know, thank you for stumbling upon our channel. Thank you for checking us out. My name is Justin Spaulding. I own and operate 2,000 apartments, just under 2,000 apartments here in Wisconsin. And we're always sharing a lot of free content across Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. So how we did $100 million of deals in a 3-week period goes a little bit like this. And now when I say $100 million of deals that we did, people are like, did you guys acquire all that? No, we didn't acquire it all. Basically, we acquired in Fund 8, we acquired $52 million worth of deals, right? So we got 52 million here. A little roof, a little roof, right? And basically what that equated to, or what that was 4 different properties. It was from 2 different sellers. The timing of it worked out perfect where we just ended up putting it in the same fund, Fund 8. It was 460 total units. With that 460 total units, we had about 50 investors invest in it. So we've got 200 investors total. Of the 50 investors, about 25% of those investors were new investors. The other 75%, they've invested with us 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 times. But we did $52 million worth of deals there. We raised about $20 million for this of equity. That means we had about $32 million of debt. But it's a $52 million net. I'm going to go more into this deal in a second. This Fund 3, this is actually a refinance. So we refinanced the deals. The deals appraised for about $45 million. So yes, I said $100 million. All right, made a mistake, right? 45 plus 52, it was $97 million total. $97 million total between the two that we did. This Fund 3, the crazy thing about this, the new value was $45 million. We initially bought it for $33 million. So that's an increase of $12 million. That's an increase of $12 million in value. The $33 million purchase price, that when we first bought it, that was January 2021. And the thing is, with that deal, I knew it included 32 duplexes, it included a 78-unit townhome, and a 76-unit townhome. And when I first got the deal, and when it first came across my desk, I kind of looked at it and I said, I just threw it aside. It didn't really make a lot of sense to me because the broker that put it together, he only does single-family homes typically. So him doing single-family homes and then him coming across something like this, he was out of his league. It was kind of out of his league, and being that it was out of his league, he kind of put an offering together that made absolutely no sense to any investor looking at it. Fell into our lap. Finally, I wasn't very busy one day. I decided to dive deeper into it. And when I started to add up what he all had included for $33 million with those 32 duplexes, the 78-unit townhome, the 76-unit townhome, I started doing the math, and I'm like, man, if we buy all this, and if we were to sell the 78-unit townhome individually, if we were to sell the 76-unit townhome if we were able to sell those 32 duplexes individually, it'd be a pain in the ass, number one, because it's a lot of transactions, which is why the seller came to him wanting to sell it all as a bundle, but for $33 million. But when I broke it apart, I actually thought it was worth $39 million that day back in January 2021. So we raised $10 million of equity. We ended up buying the whole thing for $33 million. Knowing that, hey, it was going to be very strong cash flow day one. We did an adjustable rate mortgage in January 2021 with the mindset of, hey, 18 months to 3 years from now, we will refinance and it'll be worth somewhere between 40 and 50 million. Well, came back worth $45 million. So this initial deal, we had about $10 million of equity. It's been paying, it had already paid out about let me do the math in my head really quick. It already paid out about $1.5 million in cash flow distributions. We refinanced, we paid off the old debt. We then paid back out another $2 million to investors. So $2 million of the 10, we've returned 20% just in capital. We paid, so the capital accounts, everyone contributes $10 million. We currently, at that point, we were paying a preferred return based on the $10 million. We refinance it, take the new debt, we pay back we give $2 million back of the $10 million. So now the new preferred return going forward is based off the $8 million, not inclusive in the principal, reduction was the distributions that we've been paying along. And so people in this deal in the first 18, 19 months have seen on average about a 15% annualized return, 15 to 20% annualized return. I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but that's a pretty solid return, right? In a time where you look at right now, you look at the stock market, it's getting crushed. You look at the rest of the economy, and there's certain things in the rest of the economy that are getting absolutely crushed. So these people are absolutely thrilled to be getting this type of return. The type of debt, now I want to talk about the two different types of debt. Here I'm talking about variable rate. I think that this deal is probably actually worth $48 to $50 million. And we're still going to pay a huge distribution here going forward, even though we put a higher debt amount on it, because the deal, we're still adding value to the deal. We're still getting the rents. We're still pushing the rents and increasing the rents, right? And when the rents get increased, that means our net operating income is also going to be increased. What forced us out of this variable rate interest, what forced us out of this variable interest rate a little bit sooner than we really ideally wanted to was interest rates increasing, right? Because we've got a couple variable rate deals right now where we're seeing, every single month we're seeing an increase of $30,000 per month being paid in interest, going to interest. And so with this deal happened long enough ago that we didn't foresee interest rates increasing so soon and so rapidly. So when we were able to get to a point where it already had this value on it, and we could then flip this from being variable rate to fixed rate, we went ahead and did that. Over here with this acquisition that we had this year for $52 million, we raised $20 million, about $32 million of debt went on this deal. That $32 million debt, we did 10 years locked with 5 years interest only. So we're not going to have to, we don't have any variable rate risk there. We do have a couple other deals sitting out there yet, which Fund 3 I'm going to talk about in a second that we closed in May. That one is variable rate. We're seeing 40% rent trade outs over here, meaning if someone's paying, $800 a month rent now, we're jacking the rents up to what they need to be. People, you're going to make a negative comment. Someone out there's going to make a negative comment about this. Oh, you're just jacking rents. Literally, the rents here are $800 a month. They can't find a comparable place in the area for $1,300 a month. So we turn around and we offer $1,100 a month. We get about a 40% increase on rents. On this deal, I felt comfortable going variable rate in May, even though we knew rates were increasing because of how much upside we had here, the lack of supply in the market, and the strength of the demand, right? But also, I was able to underwrite the deal assuming that it goes to a 7% interest rate, and we're still good. So here, I was able to expect and put into the plan escalating interest rates. I could not do that here. We want to do that here because we bought this deal, and now I'm going to have to reach across the screen a little bit. We bought this deal back in May for $42 million. We raised $11 million of equity. So we raised $11 million of equity. We wanted to do variable rate because, as I said, we've got dozens and dozens of apartments here that we're increasing rents 20, 40, 50%. And when you do that, right, just like this deal, how I said, hey, day one, we bought it for $33 million. Day one, it was probably worth $39. This one, we bought for 42. It's really worth 46, 47, 48, 49 that day we bought it. I wanted to be able to have an option. If we would have locked this deal in to fixed financing, we'd be fixed on this for 10 years, meaning if we sold it, if we wanted to refinance it, we'd have a huge prepayment penalty. So since I could build in a high interest rate, we still make it through, we're still cash flow really strong, we still get the investors what they need, we're still going to be able to have the door open here for another year, year and a half, where then we can do what we need to do with the rents, we can get the NOI up, and then we're going to be able to refinance this deal, and it'll be valued at maybe 48, 52, 55, $60 million. We'll be able to refi a lot of this $11 million equity back out of the deal. Just to recap again here real quick before we jump to Signature 23. In a 3-week pay period, in a 3-week period, we did a $52 million acquisition. We did a $45 million refi, which gave us $97 million of transactions done in a 3-week period, in a 21-day period, right? Now, when you open it up to a 16-week period, including what we got going on over here, we did the $42 million back in May. That was an acquisition. And then with Signature 23, that thing got reevaluated at $5.3 million. I don't know why I just wrote 5.5. $5.3 million. So now if we do the math on it, let's just round down. We'll go 5 plus 42 is 47 million, plus the 97 million is $144 million of deals in a 16-week time period. 9 years ago, 4 years ago, 2 years ago, I would have never imagined all that would have happened in such a short period of time in 2022. I always knew I was going to be doing deals like this. I always knew that this was going to be going on. I always knew we'd have this much volume in a short period of time. The difference is I thought that year was going to be 2035 or 2040, and I was going to be, what am I going to be in 2045? 2045 is 13 years from now, I'm going to be 45 years old. So I thought I was going to be 45 to 50 before I was doing all this type of thing. Here I am, 32, doing these types of things, right? Takes a lot of learning, like I talked about last week, a lot of courage to go after it. This Signature 23 deal, we bought that for 2.6 4 years ago. So what we're going to be able to do here now is we're going to be able to get back all the investor. We put in $900,000 of equity. So with this refinance, right, new value, we're putting about 4.2 of debt, 4.2 million of debt. So it's going to go pay off this, old loan that we had up here. With what's left, we're going to pay out $900K to investors, plus about a 12% annualized return. We've had the deal for 4 years, so it's ballpark $100,000 a year times 4, so that's another $400K to investors. So investors put in $900,000. They're going to get back about $1.3 million. And then going forward, we're going to be able to pay out a solid distribution going forward as well. So that's kind of the name of the game. That's kind of how we went about doing this. And so if you like the channel, if you like this video today, I'd really enjoy if you would subscribe. Leave a comment. Let us know what you like about this video, what you hate about this video. Let us know what you want to learn when it comes to entrepreneurship, business, cash flow, investing, whatever it might be. And we will do our best to make that the next Want to Know Wednesday for next week.